This is the 6th turn of the 2020 aerobic compost heap. We had a lot of rain, between 5 and 6 inches, and we are not going to have a water problem this turn. Even though I had the tarp on the top, the water flowed past the tarp onto the bottom of the pile, and that's normally where it's the driest. Not this time. Look at that, I'm kind of a slob here. I have to tuck my shirt in. I was out gathering greens, and I've got the normal garlic mustard, I got rhubarb, that plant that I always forget the name of it. Got some daylilies this time, and stinging nettles, and the first time I'm going to be adding some comfrey. The next turn I'm going to be adding a lot of comfrey, because by then I think this is going to start to need a lot of nitrogen. But I had probably 2 to 3 times more greens than I normally put in. I got some rhubarb too, I don't know if I mentioned that. So, get her going. Yeah, she's nice and hydrated. I filled up a lot of water barrels. I have 8 of them, and 3 of them still have material in it, but there's still probably 3/4 or more of it is water, and the other 5 are just pure rainwater, and they're about 50 gallons each. So there's definitely more than 350 gallons. And then I have a 350 gallon tank that's totally full. And we are good to go. Supposed to start getting sunny and warm, and you couldn't have asked for a better setup for the blossoms on the fruit trees. They had all this water now, and in my soil I've got all this carbon in it. So all that water was just absorbed. There was a study done that a normal forest that has a lot of, old growth forest that has a lot of humus in the soil, that every, I think, 3 inches of humus, it'll hold 1 inch of rain. So if you got something with like 12 inches of humus in it, it'll rain 4 inches and the water won't move. It'll stay right on the spot. I got daylily roots too. So it's very interesting that I haven't turned this pile for 3 whole days. That's a very long wait. I wanted to do it last night, but It was raining. This camera equipment just doesn't like the water. It doesn't like rain. I've already lost a couple cameras because I did something where I got them wet. That's why we got that. We've got those stalks from burdock in here. I really like burdock because it adds iron to the pile. Now there's a study I read talking about iron binding with heavy metals, and they actually form a different compound. Ooh, there's some really nice, this is that white bacteria I've been talking about. Look at that. It's all over that burdock stems. Remember, those burdock stems are from almost, well, they're from 10 months ago. And they've been fermenting in water ever since. Well, we got some ashes. I didn't add any ashes to this yet. Oops. So it can't be iron from like steel or from iron ore. It's got to be iron in a soluble form. Which brings me to another new study that I read this morning about fish bones. Of all things, fish bones have phosphate in it. It has a different kind of a phosphate in it. And this is a very special phosphate where it also binds with heavy metals, especially lead, and produces a different compound that is not digestible by the human digest system. That's huge. And I might remind you that I started this pile with a whole bunch of fish entrails, which there's fish bones in it. I think every single one of my piles have had fish bones in it. That's just like, wow. That's great news. So what, in the study of that, what they did was, and they talked about composting too, but what they did was to learn about this, or how to actually utilize fish bones so that it'll work that way, is they mixed fish bones with the soil. This was in an urban environment where there was lead, and then they built garden beds on top. And then it had the normal compost and good soil, good clean soil on top. And that was the remedy. That's all it took. So that's really huge news. Yeah. I was doing the right thing and didn't even know it. 3 days and this thing is really going very well. lots of stemmy material from burdock and comfrey in there. Jewelweed. Jewelweed is another one I keep forgetting the name of. Oh, this is really good. Especially in light of it'll last in the soil for 17 years and probably just sets up a chain reaction of all types of life sustaining events that'll last way beyond that. It'll be a century. You don't have to do anything here for a century. How about that? Oops. Got lots of greens, I better put some on here. This is comfrey. Next time I'm going to have even more. I just harvested 3 plants, the 3 largest ones. There's some stinging nettle. For some reason, stinging nettle doesn't bother me that much. That's stinging nettle. Right here, this is comfrey. You can see how luscious it is. It's got lots and lots of moisture. It's got lots of nitrogen in it. Yeah. That heats the pile up. Stinging nettle is one of those special plants, as well as comfrey. They accumulate a lot of different minerals. So when you get the minerals from plants like that, they're soluble, ready to go right now. Oh, I got something else here. I forgot about these. Throwing them in the garage in this pail. I was going to clean them and then forgot about them. These are black walnuts in the husk yet. And normally in the past what they've done is there's been a worm that got in this and made it all mushed up and a lot of white fungi and really crappy looking material, but these kind of stayed pretty whole. Here's one that's getting a little funky. Right there, I'm going to put this whole thing in a pile and see what happens. All my plants died, and now you know why. to kind of spread them out a little bit. I think the bacteria is going to eat that no problem. There's my hoarse voice curl. He's been around here for a while. He's out during the day, so maybe he's the she. Because the he's are right now sitting on the nest. There's the deer head. Oh yeah, she's really getting ate up now. Smells like cooked venison, exactly like it. Even though that thing was hanging in the shed all this while, it still smells like cooked venison. You think it'd smell rotten? Huh. Stuff will get inside of it then. Let's put a big slug of comfrey around it. Working like a madman. Geez, I got a lot of greens here yet. Oh, I got burdock too. Dug out some pretty nice burdock here. Look at that nice root. That's full iron right there. You notice that other really big one I have in there is totally gone. There's where we want to be. on a peanut rampage since I wasn't able to get any for a couple months. We're opening everything back up. They're afraid that the economy is not coming back, and who knows, it might not. And maybe the virus is going to come back too. You know. I don't think anybody knows. Too many variables. These doctors that stand up in front of everybody and tell them, oh, they're so sure of this and they're so sure of that, they're all guessing. What they're sure of is that they're going to try to figure out a way to make some money on it. That's what they're sure of. Everybody's on this big V word. I'm afraid if I say it, the YouTube will delete it. The V word, they're all, you hear it on the media night and day, and you hear it from these doctors night and day. They don't tell you that there's never been an injection that has worked in a coronavirus situation. They don't tell you that. Never. What's going to be, there was another injection years ago. I forget what it was for. And a lot of people died from it. That's what we're going to have. Because people are all, they got people all excited to get the injection. And they're going to do it before they properly study. And there's information out there now that's showing that they don't properly study these injections the way they do drugs. It's a different classification. So it's all just experiments. They got people so used to being taken care of and believing that this is the best thing ever. That kind of technology is not that great. The biology on this planet adapts. Oh, look at that. He's touching that compost with his bare hands. Oh. Now I got dirt all over. Gritty. There. Better. I'm going to break this apricot again. Oh, I was talking about the timing in these rains. What a perfect timing for this to have poured like this right before all the fruit trees are beginning to blossom. And now we're going to get some hot weather. So the pollinators are going to be out in force. That's going to be a pretty nice situation. They got plenty of water that's been absorbed by my high carbon soil. I probably got enough rainwater for the whole summer now, stored right in the soil. I got a series of swales heading down to the back of the property. Oh, there's a spoon. And all this water has been absorbed into my soil. And now, all these blossoms, I got more blossoms on trees this year than I ever have. It's all getting older. So I don't know, you know, anything can happen yet to spoil the effect. But right now it's looking pretty promising. What can happen includes pests. A lot of times fruit trees will blossom and just won't make any fruit. Might get a freak freeze, but I don't think that's going to happen because it looks pretty darn warm the next week. Very warm. Warmer than normal. We're going to go from colder than normal to warmer than normal, just like that in the day. Today's the day. As well as that pile looked, after 3 days I might start doing more 3 days. It's pretty nice. Less turning. It could be because of these wood shavings here. It's keeping it all fluffed up real nice. It's not compacting as fast. If you had just manure, it's finer material and it probably compacts rather quickly. That's why they want you to turn it in 2 days. The person I bought it from, he said that he makes big monster piles, and he surprised me when he told me that the material is brown for the first 10, 12, I think he might even set up to 15 feet of a pile going in, and then in the center it's black. And the coloration difference, that's the difference between anaerobic and aerobic. Aerobic will stay brown, anaerobic will go black. So that's very interesting. So I might have stumbled upon this really nice mix for making aerobic compost, because every time I use his mix it always turns out nice. The other stuff I struggle with a bit. It also could be why part of that reason is I'm trying to keep it active longer. permaculture course, I learned, the teacher, he stressed that you turn it every 2 days, and you only start with, you don't add anything, you just have your start ingredients, and then that's it. You just keep turning, you don't add anything different. Well, I don't want to do that because I got so much material coming online. I want to keep using it. There's a matter of timing here, where I want to use this area for growing crops. We don't have a very long growing season. So I reasoned it out that I want to do this pile, and I want it to be done by the end of May. And I've been practicing that a couple years in a row now, and it's worked very well. So getting all this material absorbed in the compost for food for my plants on a timely basis. And when I finish, I'm growing a really nice crop of food. Now 2 years ago I did a bunch of circle beds, and it was very unruly. I had decent production, but my design wasn't, I mean, I could have made more if I had it a little better organized. I had a lot of crops that were going into other crop areas, and it's hard to walk around, hard to harvest. So last year I had a little better design. This year I'm going to break it up into smaller beds. So I got all that green material in. Oh, I didn't get all the walnuts in there. Well, let's make a hole and get them started anyway. We'll just have to make sure we scatter them out once we pull them out of here. Okay. That looks pretty nice. There, finished. Alright, stay tuned for the next episode of As the Compost Turns.